Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone out there who's joining us today. We just went ahead and started the event. We're going to give everybody a minute or so to start collecting and getting in the room here, and then we'll go ahead and kick the discussion off. So if you want to please hang on, I'll let you know when we'll get things going. For those of you who are still coming in or just joined us, we're going to hang on for about 30-ish more seconds before we get things kicked off. All right, I say let's go ahead and start moving along with this. Thanks again for joining. We expect the event runtime to be anywhere between 20 to 25 minutes with some time for questions at the end. With that said, we'll move to some rules of the road. At the bottom of the meeting room, you will see different options to communicate with us. Please use the Q&A area for questions to the speakers. There's also a chat button that you can use to raise any technical issues during the course of the event. The recording and event deck will be sent out to you post the event. Now let me go ahead and introduce our speaker of the day. We have Shri. He's been a part of Entytle for the past 8 years and has been pivotal in getting us where we are today. He takes care of the entire data and DevOps infrastructure at Entytle. He's been instrumental in building an install-based data studio focused on industrial data workflows. And with that being said, Shri, I will go ahead and hand it off over to you.
Thanks a lot, Colin. So good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar today. So over the next few minutes, we will be focusing on how to build your install-based data visibility, and by its virtue, how to clean, stage, and analyze that install-based data, because a clean and unified data is the foundation of getting the most of your install-based visibility. But having said that, let's start with a fundamental question. Why is it so hard to achieve visibility in your install-based data? So as you can see here, the data would be scattered across various functional systems like CRM, ERP, service management tools, and much more. And this fragmentation makes the data messy, disconnected, and very difficult to leverage effectively. Most likely you would have a partial customer list, raw transactions, manual data exports. So it makes nearly impossible to form a single cohesive view of your install base. And to make matters worse, each of these systems hold very valuable information, but accessing and unifying this data becomes really daunting. It's like having all the pieces of the puzzle, but not being able to see the complete picture. And this is what we see across 100% of our customers and prospects who we deal with. Having said that, it's not that organizations have not tried this or have not attempted to solve it. They have done it, but with a decades old technology approach and a mindset, with a non-data driven mindset. What you'd see here is there are various approaches. People put the data into data lakes. They spend a lot into CRM customizations, or they would have growth teams into building in-house data tools, and spreadsheets is everyone's favorite. But eventually, all of these systems lead to more silos, because more often than not, these systems don't really interact well with each other. And even if they do, they are not really maintained well. And what is the common thread across all of them? That these are all things that are very time consuming, very difficult to maintain, and ultimately they don't really become scalable. That's where the industry needs a fundamental shift in how to manage your install base data. And that's what we are going to focus in the next few minutes. So let's take a step back and understand what are the multiple phases, or if you have to achieve the best-in-class install-based data visibility, what are the multiple phases into it? So the first step is data collection. Needless to say, you need to identify all of your data sources, whether it is structured, semi-structured, unstructured. Collecting that data from different sources itself becomes a big task. Once the data is collected, you'll have to stitch it, clean it, because while you stitch it, you will have to aggregate it, do a lot of transformations, do a lot of normalization, and that unified data should be in a clean and a standard format. If there are any errors, they need to be continuously reported. The validation has to be in the context of your business use cases. And in the similar context, you will have to enrich a lot of your information, be it location information, item catalog, and so on. At the same time, data governance and data security are very important pillars in this piece, because it's important to have a very robust role-based access control systems, and your data should be secure both in transit and at rest. Finally, uh, maintaining this data is also very important, because it's not a one-time thing. Once you would have set up all of these things, you need to ensure that the incremental delta loads, or the additional data that would be there into all other systems, all of that should come at one place. So it could be in form of change data capture, regular audits, or automated alerts to get your additional feeds. So generally, how do companies approach this problem? So what we see is, in this multi-phased approach, at every phase, companies or organizations, they spend a lot into different tools at every stage. So to acquire data, people write a lot of custom scripts, or they would have a lot of consultants doing it. In the profiling, cleaning, unification stuff, at every stage, people use different tools, maybe a Talent or a Trifecta or a Databricks. Analytics being a commodity, people would use AWS AutoML or Azure AutoML. And finally comes the data delivery piece, where people would deliver data into a Power BI or in form of Tableau dashboards, Salesforce, or any other CRM system. So this is where Entytle value proposition comes into picture, because we have built an install-based data studio which does everything from data acquisition to data delivery under one roof. And wouldn't it be great if you had a system or a platform which would do everything, all of these phases from data acquisition to data delivery, on top of it, giving you the best-in-class visibility of your install-based data, thereby automating your complete set of data processes. So if I were to give you a higher level overview of the install-based intelligence platform, what is it that we do is we get data from different systems, ERP, CRM system, your custom systems, and our data quality engine, which is the foundation of all of this. And we also call it install-based data studio, which does everything from data cleaning, unification, deduplication, entity resolutions, enrichment, and so on. Only when we clean and unify this data to a great extent, we feed it to an analytics pipeline, which generates analytics both at a micro and a macro level. And these clean and unified data plus analytics is fed to our flagship product, which is Entytle Insights, which or where for using which you would be able to search this data. The salesperson would be able to generate opportunities, generate pipelines, run campaigns around it, thereby giving you a lot of revenue boost. And the best part is, most of our customers get all of this clean and unified data into their systems via our open APIs, because we have exposed all of these APIs to our customers so that they can make the best out of this clean and unified data into their systems. We also have a web and a mobile application, so people can, whenever they make field visits, they can make use of the mobile application and then update the equipment or asset information in real time. If I were to show you a business view of this data pipeline, what is it that we have done? Or I'll tell you, in other words, I'll tell you the secret sauce of this is, we have built a standard data model that caters to most of your install base use cases. So keeping the install base entities, major install base entities at the center, what we have done is we take care of all your locations or customers, addresses, equipments, bill of materials, service contracts, warranties, and many other custom objects. So we work backwards, so keeping this data model at the center. We work backwards with respect to this and get data from your different systems, clean it, unify it, and then feed it to our analytics pipeline, where you can segment your customers by usage segment, customer segment, generate AI driven opportunities or leads, We can also rank contacts by their occurrence into different sources, so that when a salesperson is working on a specific opportunity, he or she would know who is the specific person he or she needs to call to convert that opportunity. So as they say, the proof of the pudding lies in the eating. So I'd be giving you a demo or a view of this complete process. How do we acquire data? What is it that we do into the cleaning and unification process? What kind of analytics we generate? And how can end users make the best out of this? So let's get going. So right now I have logged in into install-based data studio. So what we have done is we have built this product for two different personas. One is a data engineer who would be doing all of the data profiling, stitching, and cleaning related stuff. And this clean and unified data, as I said earlier, is fed to this analytics pipeline where we generate descriptive, predictive, and prescriptive analytics onto that clean and unified install-based data. So within the data prep workspace, we have a logical and a phased manner, meaning the first thing is you do a data prep, write a lot of recipes to prep your data. And once the data has been prepped to a great extent, feed it to our standard and a robust data model where you would feed your transaction data, location data, assets, equipments, and so on. And we also have location deduplication where we can uh, get the location information which is generally present into different systems because that is the common identifier across all of them, and deduplicate all of them and create a single source of truth of the same. So the first step is getting data from different systems. So we can get data from databases, import from Snowflake. You can upload your Excel, CSV, or text file directly into a system. So if you have to import from Snowflake, so for example, I can get all of this data. So I have connected to a Snowflake warehouse where I'm getting all of the asset data where the serial number is not null, so that this becomes an equipment master for me. I can get all of the Excel files, and the individual sheets on those Excel files become different spreadsheets. And what I can do is I can get all of this data and I can do a union of all of this, so that what I want to do is assume a scenario that you have given data from different systems. And what you want to do is you want to create a unified view. So the first thing that we should be doing is get all of this data together, map all of this source column, and look at the profile of the data. What kind of what is the kind of data quality that you have, what is the nature of the data, what is the data distribution, and basically a diagnosis of your data. Once that has been done, we can write different recipe steps to improve the quality of your data. So I'd give you a sneak peek of the data profiling as well. So imagine this as a IB continuum or install base continuum as we call it, where you have all of the transactional objects. They have come from different sources. You do a lot of common data stitching related stuff into them and again split it into different sources based on where they came from. So we can look at the profile both at a macro and a micro level. So at a macro level, I'd be showing you a profile where we can see the data distribution. So I can see that I have got equipment ship date where the distribution is very low, service SLA or contact ranks. So this way, what I can get is I can get the complete distribution of the data. It helps me find data outliers in my data, look at the different data types that I have into different columns. Most of the times we see is at this phase when customers give us data, identifying the data quality, finding out the outliers helps us gauge the quality of that data. And by doing so, what we can do is we can write certain recipe steps to correct it so that the next time when we get the same data, we can run the same set of recipe. So what kind of recipes do people write? Is you can do different column level operations like merging, splitting, deleting, or renaming a column. You can do find and replace. You can find by a specific regular expression and replace with a certain value. People can create new columns by different conditions. There are SQL type joins. You can drop duplicates within your data set. There are SQL type group by functions, ranking functions. So what's the crux here? The idea here is all of these operations can be done at scale on millions of records, and you can handle all of your delta load, incremental load in a pretty much automated fashion. So the setup is a one-time thing. You can gauge the quality of the data looking at the profile, execute the recipe, and push it to a data model. So I can push it to a CSV, I can ingest it to a database. So if it's an incremental load, you can use a delta load service, or you can, so we have a data loader service which can import, ingest to a lot of different tables. You can export to a temporary table, you can push to Snowflake and so on. So the idea is you got your data, you looked at the profile, performed a lot of data operations onto it, and then pushed it to a data model. So this is one part of it. Once that data has been pushed to a data model, what you can do is you can validate it against a certain set of rules. For example, for the sake of this demo, what I've done is, so we have location information. So when you double click on this, you see that the customer state information is missing, but you have a lot of other information like you have city, zip, state. So using the same, what we have done is we have enriched the missing state using city and zip. We And at the same time, what's happening is it's also showing a validation that the input customer state was null and it should not be null. If a particular column has been set as the minimum length of the zip, mostly in case of US, minimum should be 4 and maximum should be 5. So we can set those different rules. So the engine highlights any data quality violation into it so that you don't feed bad data into a system. And it is very important to arrest any data quality issue at source, because no matter how sophisticated your algorithms are, if you don't have good quality, your algorithms are not going to generate good analytics. Once this data enrichment and cleaning is done, we can feed it to our deduplication pipeline, where we deduplicate all of the data. So I'll just show you one of the fields where, let's take the example of Quenex communication, where we can do name clustering or address clustering. So imagine a case where you have an account Nx and they have different locations, but since the data comes from different systems, you may find some variations into either the company name, state, city, zip. But assume that a combination of customer name, state, zip, country makes a location unique. You can generate a cluster according to it, mark one of the record as canonical, and when you finally move it or persist to database, you will be seeing a single unified view. And an example of that is multiple locations of Kenis communication can all of with, I mean, it's the same location, but since it is coming from different systems, there are variations into it, and all of that can be brought into a single place. And if we have to now view all of the data associated with the same customer, what you can do is you can see a 360-degree view, and you can also see related locations to it. The other part is you got your transaction data, you deduplicated it, and you now want to generate predictive analytics into it. So we have different set of services, both at a macro and a micro level. At a macro level, you can you can segment your customers into different into usage or customer segment. So you can say that segment my customers by number of total parts or number of equipments or number of equipment transactions. Put them into these different segments. Or at a account level or at a customer level, you can say that segment by customers by equipment revenue, part revenue, service revenue, or by total revenue. This is how you can segment your customers. This information can also be used into generating prescriptive analytics, where you can say that consider my transaction history of last 10 years and generate parts opportunities for me for the next 90 days, and use the item master that has item category data, item number data, or both. Once these opportunities are generated, what we can do is we can pick and choose to see what is the best opportunity for me, what is the highest probability, and so on. You can filter it by a specific customer name. So again, let's take the example of Penix communication, where what I've done is I have run a job for last 10 years of transaction history, and I want to see all of those opportunities that have been generated for this customer. I just had filtered this data more, and I can see that I have containers, lamps, and a lot of other information. So for Connect communication, Laplace, I can see that there are two opportunities, containers and lamps. What I can do is I can process this data, put this into Entytle Insights, which a salesperson can eventually view to generate revenue for him or her. And once you move that opportunity to insights, this is how you would see it. And now the concerned salesperson can talk to specific contacts. So what we do is when we generate an opportunity, we also assign top three contacts related to that particular account. So how do we rank these contacts? We look at the last occurrence into different data sources and rank them. And this feature helps a lot of our customers in converting a lot of these opportunities. These opportunities can also be viewed into Salesforce. For example, uh, what we have done is we have done a full integration with Salesforce where you can view all of this. So you can have an equipment view, parts, services, or for that matter, the opportunity that I created a while ago that can be seen here. So that way, what we have is we got data from database or in form of spreadsheet from your system. We cleaned it, unified it, deduplicated it. Uh, and we use that data to generate predictive analytics. We pushed it to Entytle Insights, and eventually we have also got that information into your Salesforce system. So that way we have got everything from data acquisition to data delivery. So this is the way we envision a best-in-class process to build your install base data visibility. Having said that, I'd like to now open the forum for questions.
All right, thanks for that, Shri. We did have a couple of questions that we wanted to, or that came up. If you wanted to also share that last slide in the deck so that people can also scan our QR code or get your contact information, that would be good if there's any others that come up after this. Um, First one is how flexible is the data model that Entitle has built?
Great question, Colin. So we get this question from most of our prospects or customers is, so we have built a standard data model which caters to all of your IB needs. But in each of those tables, what we have done is we have kept a set of standard attributes and a lot of custom attributes. We have more than 80 plus custom attributes where if the customer wants to get all of that customer info, all the custom information, which would be different coming from different systems, we can get all of that. Apart from that, we have our own Power BI integration into our system. So if they want to build any custom dashboards or over any of those custom objects, we can also do that. So the system is quite flexible that way.
Yeah, great explanation on that. And I've also worked on the customer side and sales side, and I echo what Shri has said on taking a lot of different use cases and different data and applying it to customers specifically. The second question that we have here is, can we get our custom objects into your system?
Yeah, you can definitely get. So a lot of our customers have asked us to get their custom objects into ours, though we have catered to almost 99% of them. But even if there is, we have a provision to get their custom objects.
Awesome. Last but not least is what kind of integrations, both inbound and outbound, do you have?
Yeah. So again, a great question, Colin. So we have integration. So in inbound, we can get data from any of the systems. And the best part is uh, we ask our customers share their data exports onto our FTP server. And since everything we deal everything in form of spreadsheets, so our customers share that with us. And almost all of our APIs are exposed to our customers. They get fetch this location information, account information, opportunity information into their system via our open APIs. And if they give us access to their APIs, we can also directly invoke their APIs to push their data into their systems. So we have both solid inbound and outbound integration. One of our customers, we had written a custom module where they had exposed their API in which we could get their weekly delta load. We could get all of that and put directly into a database, clean and unify it, and then again push it to their system. So we have kind of automated that complete stuff.
Great. Thanks for answering that. That looked like that was the last question that we had for today. So again, thanks, Shri, for taking time and sharing with everybody. Audience, thanks again for joining us. we should have another event coming up in the middle of December. So keep your eyes out on any kind of LinkedIn posts that we have, or there will be an email coming to you. And so, once again, thanks everybody, and have a good morning, good afternoon, or a good evening.
Thank you. Have a good day.